Hello everyone, and welcome back to the IGS series on Team Ico's Shadow of the Colossus, where we hope to give you something a little different than those other video game channels. This video continues the second part of our series, the analysis. For this analysis, we will be referring to Richard Lanham's style-substance matrix and how it operates within Shadow of the Colossus. For the second video, we'll be looking at his third spectrum in the matrix, motive. Now this spectrum consists of three different parts: game, play, and purpose. The middle section, purpose, is just as it sounds. A person buys a bookshelf to hold books. That is its purpose, and the goal of said purpose. On the left part of the spectrum lies game, or as Lanham describes it, quote, the competitive side of human nature. This end of the spectrum is what causes us humans to want to overcome others, to strive to be the best, and to maintain a status of prosperity and affluence, i.e., win the game of life. Lastly, on the far right of the spectrum lies play. Here lies the side of people who do things just for the love of it. Lanham mentions those who are, quote, students of the struggle, rather than participants, or, quote, mountaineers who climb mountains simply because they are there to climb. Those who participate in play are there out of enjoyment rather than competition. But the interesting fact to mark about all the ends of the spectrum is that Shadow of the Colossus covers the entire spread. The first end which this game covers is that of play. Although the game has a rigidly linear story from the moment the player is dropped into the Forbidden Lands, they have the option to freely roam this world, and thus exploring for exploring's sake. One of the game's largest appealing factors is simply that the world in which the game takes place is massive. The lush, open world is enticing for those who wish to explore the game and get lost in it. The game is not fun because of any sort of victory, but because of the imaginative space there that is to be explored and interacted with. Even fighting colossi throughout the game becomes part of exploring the world, as these colossi do not move from their respective arenas and are so large in stature, they become features of the land to play in just as much as mountains or deserts are. The sole fact of it being a single-player game also highlights the game as play in methodology. Many games now, with the incorporation of online multiplayer, find themselves being centered around competition between other players, the enjoyment coming from beating these other players or teams. But this is not so in Shadow of the Colossus at first. The initial playthrough of the game features no interaction between other players at all, showing that players are definitely on the play side of the spectrum until after the first playthrough is complete. Now, after having huge success in its first years, Shadow of the Colossus was re-released in HD with its sister game, Ico, in 2011. A part of this newer version included some online capabilities which did not appear in the first due to hardware restrictions. Challenges which invoke the game side of the spectrum now come into play in this newer version. This lies mainly within the time challenge modes of gameplay, as well as other achievements that can be completed, such as speedruns. These are all put onto online leaderboards so that players can compete to see who can get the best time for certain portions of the game. Also prevalent throughout the game are achievements called trophies. These trophies are given to a player's profile and put on display for other players to see. These trophies are prevalent primarily in the PS3 games and are part of the large game element, where the hardcore gamer's worth is based upon their ability to obtain these trophies. Team Ico made great use of the motive spectrum by including free-roaming, adventurous play elements to the game to draw players looking for a more solo, immersive experience into the game, while also catering to those players who grind for achievements in order to show their gaming prowess and climb the virtual hierarchy of global gaming dominance. While it is clear that play is paramount in Shadow of the Colossus, there is certainly enough of a competitive edge to keep those game-inclined players to use the game as a platform for their competitions. Everyone, thanks for watching IGS. We don't have a capture card yet, and credit for the footage goes to Charles Bronson, who kindly agreed to let us use his. You can find a link to his channel in the description. If you enjoyed the video, check out the rest of our Shadow of the Colossus series below and hit the like and subscribe buttons. See you next time.